Hello, it's July 12th, 2025, and this is another edition of $5 in the World. This is a YouTube project that is associated with a book project I'm working on. The working title for the book is $5 in the World, and it has to do with the stories of my dad's life, the sayings that my dad relied on, and some of his philosophies and worldviews that helped make him the guy he was. He was an incredible guy, um, did amazing things with his life, lived 101 years, left an impact on everybody who knew him. And I just thought, and I've heard it so many times growing up and over the years, somebody should write down these things he used to say. Somebody should write a book about that guy. Somebody should write a book about your dad. Somebody should write down all those things he said. I would tell stories about him. I still do. People are like, that's incredible. It sounds like a really amazing person. Which he was. And so this project is a way to help me think about what I'm writing and share some thoughts about them as I go. It's an accountability partner. If I tell you I'm going to be here every week, Friday or Saturday, and share a chapter or thought about a chapter, then I need to be here. And I enjoy it. I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the signing up the subscription to the channel, sharing it, and inviting others to come along. And I've enjoyed the experience. It's great to reminisce and remember these things, relive some of these moments, think about how these ideas have worked in my life and my brother's life and so many other people. The one I want to write about today is about decision making and the approach my dad took to that, because that's a critical element. We are the culmination of our decisions made and the decisions we don't make. We are really that. Our lives are a reflection of our decision making, and the quality of our life relies so much on how we make decisions, and our mindset is affected so much by that period between an opportunity and a resolution, that gap period. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And that can actually be uh, pretty pretty disruptive to our peace of mind. We've all been there where we've had a big decision to make or a series of decisions to make, and it can really disrupt our day to day thing. If you've ever had to plan something in the future, like a wedding or a trip or selling a house or buying a house, those are big ones, or a wedding or a special birthday party, any of that kind of future, lots of moving parts, decision making. You're looking for a job and you have to decide which job offer to take. Or you're trying to hire someone, trying to decide who to hire. You know what I mean? Multiple layers of decisions. They can become so much a part of our focus that we lose track of our day-to-day routine, habits, and responsibilities. We've all seen it, we've all experienced it. My dad was brilliant at how he navigated that stuff, and I didn't really see it impact him, even though his whole life, like everybody else's, his life was just a bunch of decisions, some pretty big. I've shared here, he owned companies, he did things, he being a parent, being a spouse, being a friend, being a business owner, just decisions on top of decisions on top of decisions. And a lot of them had some complexity to it. Again, not unique in that. He wasn't unique in that. But I thought how he dealt with it was unique, or at least set apart, special. I'm sure other people do it too. I know they do. But it was a lot of people don't. And I thought I'd share it, and it might be of some use to people that aren't thinking about decisions the way he did, and it might help you too. So let me know what you think of it, and I would really appreciate it. So this is how it's go. This is it. The name of this chapter is "It's Time to Make a Decision." I read about a study that claimed a human being makes 35,000 decisions a day. It's in Psychology Today from September 2018 is when it came out. That seems like an astonishing number until we realize that every move we make is the result of a decision. As researchers will attest, so many of these decisions occur at an almost subconscious, reflexive level. We develop habits and routines that practically automate our decision making. While habits and routines should be reviewed on a regular basis for relevancy and effectiveness, we need to think about how we think. The routines and habits are not usually the decisions that keep us awake at night. The decisions that we believe will impact our lives in some way, those will capture our focus. The decisions that others are going to make about us, those can disrupt our rhythms even more so. The decisions that are the most challenging combine these two aspects. If I have a life challenging decision to make that is pending the decision of other people, how do we frame these moments in a way that allows us to thrive in that area of uncertainty? So much energy can burn off trying to choose between two options that are not even available yet. We anticipate what we will say when the time comes, and then we extrapolate out from that imaginary decision to all the other decisions that will cascade from that one. We find ourselves operating parallel realities, the one we exist in now and the one we are imagining based on all these hypothetical decisions. Being double-minded in this way can be so disruptive. It tends to develop into a kind of worry, and it can build into anxiety. We spend more time thinking about the ramifications of these imagined decisions than the issues actually in front of us that we need to handle on a day-to-day basis. Think about how distracted you are when shopping for a big ticket item, or job seeking, or planning a vacation, or buying or selling a home, wedding plans. These future events with all of the moving parts and participants and decisions to be made in the future get replayed, rehearsed, and rehashed in our minds over and over. They easily take up more focus than the responsibilities that we have right in front of us. This is not a chapter about not planning so we can find peace of mind. Planning is critical. It is about how we frame our planning and how we can compartmentalize future decisions in a healthy way so we don't lose a sense of living in the present. It provides a way to account for possibilities, good and bad, in the future without letting them blow up into anxieties and sleepless nights. My dad had tons of weighty decisions to make on a daily basis. He was a husband, parent, business owner, friend, community leader, church member, sports fan, world traveler, among so many other interests and roles. He had decisions to make. People wanted his advice before they made theirs. He relied on others making decisions hopefully in his favor. He was not unique in this way. None of us are spared the obligation of decision making. But he carried the weight of the unknown lightly. It was not due to a practiced indifference, but a sense of clarity and timing that made this possible for him. Dad possessed a clear understanding of what he had control over, what he had influence over, and what was beyond his reach. By the way, Stephen Covey wrote a book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and he has this concept that is about this same idea. The circles of I think you call it circles of focus or something like that. And he talked about there's things that you can control, there's things you influence, and there's things you're concerned about. Kind of concentric circles. And it's a really great book, by the way. Overall, I highly recommend it. But that concept is really expanded on in that book, and I'm not going to repeat that here. I wouldn't do it any better than he did for sure. Anyways, so he understood he had those 3 buckets. He believed in making the decisions that were up to him quickly and resolutely. He trusted his considerable powers of persuasion to influence the decisions of others the best that he knew how. He leaned into the idea that things would turn out well, and if they did not, then he would make the adjustments that he could make to keep things going. This was his general approach. How he handled more complex decisions like a business opportunity or other propositions with a lot of contingencies was so helpful to him. He told us that when he had a deal to consider, a decision to make that had layers of decisions to it, he would continue moving towards the final decision as long as it continued to look good to him. He'd make the little decisions leading up to the big ones. But he would not stress out over the final resolution of the situation until he was at that point in the process. For example, if he was pursuing an opportunity to buy property, he'd make the calls, perform the due diligence, work out the terms, and then focus on the decision of whether he wanted to buy it or not. He didn't stress out over a decision that wasn't there to be made yet. He had a goal in mind, but made sure the underlying decisions in real time were the ones he focused on, controlling the controllables. This thinking proves really effective when he had two competing offers to consider. He said, do everything you can up to the point of a decision and then decide. People will get really caught up in the concern over which opportunity to accept when neither option has been offered yet. By keeping his thoughts in line with where he was in the process and not getting too far ahead of himself and thinking about options, he avoided the anxiety and restlessness of decision making. I've offered this advice to people engaged in job searches when they start worrying about which offer they should take before one has even been made. I tell my home buyers the same thing when they haven't had an offer accepted yet. We'll make the decision when there is a decision that needs to be made. If we can keep this approach to making our decisions, we will be more clear headed about our daily responsibilities and more focused on the details leading up to the ultimate decisions. We want to experience life in the present moment, in reality. Remembering the past and the ability to imagine the future are gifts from our Creator if we use them correctly. They are meant to be in the service of our living our best life in the present moment, not torturing us with what could have been or what's going to happen. I hope we can decide to make our decisions this way in our own lives. That is the first draft of my thoughts on this decision making process that my dad used and relied on. He had this sense that he would make everything, all the decisions that came on his desk or before him, that he could make, in real time. He, with prayer and whatever wisdom he had accumulated, he'd make those decisions. He thought a quick decision was better than a long decision, right? You'd make it, move on, make the next one, make the next one. And then he would reserve the deep thinking for the bigger decisions like we talked about. Like, am I going to take this deal or not? Am I going to offer this job or not? Am I going to take this investment opportunity or not? The bigger layered ones. But then those he would just break down into those smaller decisions. And as long as those decisions kept pointing in the direction he wanted to go, he would keep going. He would keep going. But he wouldn't stress about whether he was going to get the deal or not until he was at the point where there was a deal to be had. He wouldn't worry about which offer to accept until there was actually an offer made, but he would do everything in his power to get to the point of an offer being made. So I think that's really, in real time, doing things in real time with a future mindset is a great way to do it. Instead, we ignore real time things and obsess on the future. Or even worse, sometimes we'll obsess over what we could have done and relive the past as if we had a chance to do it again and replay scenarios to try and make the outcome better in our minds, even though that's all done. Like I said, our ability, our mind's ability to think about, remember the past and to plan for the future and imagine it is really unique to humanity. We really don't know of other animals that do it at the level and at the scale that humans can. But there's a danger in that because, again, if our focus isn't on the here and now, and we use the past and the future as tools to live a better life in the present, we can end up stuck in the past or anxious about the future. We're living either in regret or anxiety. That's not our best lives. And it doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve the people around us. It doesn't help the people that are relying on us to make good decisions. So by separating those things out, using the past to inform the present, using the present to plan for the future, and using the hope of the future as incentive to keep moving in the present, you can see that cycle, that kind of synergy is healthy. And that's my dad. That was my dad's approach this every day of his life. And I think it's ideal, and he applied to the same decision making. So move every deal along, every opportunity you have, move it along, push it forward, get it right to the point of delivery, and then decide if you want it. Up until then, just work on what's in front of you, deal with what you have to work with. Take a minute to imagine the future. If it turns out well, what it'll be like. And go ahead and use that as motivation, but don't spend so much time in the future that the present slips away from you. And don't spend so much time ruminating about the lessons of the past without using them to make today a better day. So make decisions that lead to bigger decisions, but don't stress the big decision until it's actually right in front of you. Then make it, and make it based on what you think is best for you and the people around you. And I think that'll take a lot of that stress, a lot of that anxiety out of it, because so many of the decisions we think we're going to make never come to us to be made. It's true. And so we miss the ones we can make, worrying about the ones that never come. So try to get some clarity, try to get some focus, try to get that alignment between what you really desire, what you're willing to do, and what you want to have happen, and then make the decision to build towards those things. And again, do them in their proper order, and the sequence, and then the timing that you have, and then make the next one. 35,000 a day, there's a lot of them. So start deciding, but decide wisely. Thanks for being here today. This is about the normal length of these, 15 to 30 minutes. So if you're new to the channel, just keep coming back. Share your input in the chat, either live or in replay. It'll record. I'm really relying on your help. You can all be my editors, and that is awesome. Thanks again for being here. I'll see you again in a week with another chapter of $5 in the World. Bye for now.